Tonight on Coach's Corner, we're going to have something called dumping it in or shooting it in. You know, I hear a lot of coaches say this is dumb hockey. I guess the Russians say this is dumb hockey too.
Before Don Cherry would coach the Boston Bruins from 1975 to 1979 and lead his team to 2 Stanley Cup playoffs.
I know what you're thinking out there. What's a Don Cherry video without the odd tussle? You're right. But you people that don't like fights, you don't like violence, I'm going to give you time to turn it off. Is that enough time? All the sweethearts gone? They can't complain.
Before Don Cherry would become a Canadian icon with his popular series Rock'em Sock'em, Hockey Night in Canada, and of course Coach's Corner.
What's with the earring on the left side?
Well, when it's on the left side, that means I'm available. And
Good.
Not only that, hockey without violence is like a silver ballet.
Who are you picking?
I'm not picking let the best team win. Why keep score?
Before Don Cherry would be fired from SportsCenter after making some rather, well, racist comments.
You people love, you that come here, whatever it is, you love our way of life, you love our milk and honey. At least you could pay a couple of bucks for poppies.
Now, a lot of you kids south of the border, you might only be hearing about Don Cherry as of recent, but this dude, he's been entertaining the Great White North for over 50 years. Now, he's been on Coach's Corner since 1986 and on the CBC since 1980, and a lot of people, they tune in just for him. The ratings for the broadcast, they actually go up when he comes on the air. Now, in 2004, he was voted the 7th greatest Canadian of all time. He's one of the most entertaining commentators in sports history, and he's had a career that's branched off into acting as well as building up a franchise in his own name. He's also the inspiration behind me buying a bunch of these flashy suits.
Watch it. You can't turn on each other. It's the way to do it, kiddo.
Terrific.
They all got character, and that's why they're going to make the playoffs, like I said at the start of the season.
I used to wear them all the time. Maybe I should bring them back. What's going on, guys? It's your boy Michael McCrudden documenting the life and career of Don Cherry prior to his, well, recent headlines and his firing from SportsCenter. Here for you on Before They Were Fired. Now, I'd be interested to hear what you guys have to say about him losing his job. And, well, do you agree with this, or do you think he's 85 and he's been doing it forever? Sound off in the comments down below. Also, there's a few other American TV legends I could make videos on. How about Alex Trebek or Bob Barker? For that to happen, you got to sound off in the comments down below. Now let's get into this video. Hey, be sure to subscribe and hit that bell. Boom! Don Stuart Cherry was born on February 5th, 1934 in Kingston, Ontario, to Maud and Delmar Cherry. Now, for our younger viewers, I need to put this into perspective. 1934, it was the year the first Three Stooges short film was released. There's a man who I can't name who became the head of Germany. Alcatraz, they welcomed their first civilian prisoners, and New York's Apollo Theater opened. So yeah, it was like a long time ago. Now, his father was an amateur athlete who worked as an electrician with the Canadian Steamship Lines. He has a younger brother named Dick Cherry who actually played in the NHL with the Philadelphia Flyers for a couple of seasons. Don? Well, not so much. A true Canadian kid, he grew up in hockey arenas and playing pond hockey, and by 20 he was playing junior hockey for the Barrie Flyers, also the Windsor Spitfires in the Ontario Hockey League. Now, his hockey career, it would take him all over Ontario and south of the border, playing in minor hockey leagues for the Springfield Indians, the Troy Riviera Lions, Kitchener-Waterloo Beavers, Sudbury Wolves, Spokane Comets, and the Tulsa Oilers. Now, having played for all these different teams, well, it resulted in him and his family moving a total of 53 times. My God. He wasn't even making a fortune, earning just $3,000 to $4,000 per season. Now, his longest stint was in the American Hockey League, playing for the Pennsylvania Hershey Bears for over 16 seasons. And it was due to a baseball injury he received in the offseason that Don cites as the reason, as he never had a career in the NHL. Now, with that said, he did play one game for the Boston Bruins. That was against the Montreal Canadiens in the Stanley Cup Finals of 1955. Eventually, he decided to retire as a professional player after playing 19 games with the Rochester Americans in the American Hockey League. But finding work after hockey, well, it turned out to be pretty tough. Now, he was a Cadillac car salesman for some time, he worked in construction, and he tried his hand at being a painter. But that job had only paid him $2 Canadian an hour. Then in 1971, well, he decided to give hockey another go, returning to the Rochester Americans, but he played 19 games before finally hanging up his skates for good. Then he transitioned into the role of coach for Rochester in the middle of the 71 and 72 season, and he won Coach of the Year. In his third season, he was named American Hockey League Coach of the Year. He also became the general manager. The following year, in 1974, well, Cherry, he was shifted to the big leagues as coach of the Boston Bruins. Now, he quickly became notorious for encouraging his players to engage in physical play on the ice and taught them a few tricks by using his Bull Terrier Blue as an example of how to be aggressive. Whew, that was a long take.
Blue taught the players how to growl and intimidate big guys.
Is it true you took your dog into the dressing room?
We do not, Eric, talk about Blue as a dog. We just call her Blue.
The Bruins, they continued to be one of the NHL's best teams during the later half of the 1970s. They captured the division title 4 straight seasons from 1975 to 76 through 78 to 79. Now, in 1976, he won the award for Coach of the Year, and they made it to the Stanley Cup Playoffs twice, losing to the Montreal Canadiens. Canadiens! The Habitants! Now, this was in 77 and 78, and it's likely the reason why Don, well, he's never been a fan of the French team. In the 1979 semifinal playoff series against the Canadiens, well, Boston, they had scored a winning goal, but the Bruins were called for having too many men on the ice. They were penalized, and the Habs, they won in overtime.
As the Bruins get penalized for too many men on the ice with 2:34 to go and leading by 1 goal, 4-3.
This was a mistake for which Don was held responsible, and thus his exit from the team. He was never one to get along with upper management.
I thought I told you to come off. He said, yeah, so what? I grab him by the throat, strangle him like that. I know I'm fired after this. Reporter asked me after the game, Grapes, do you regret choking Mike McEwen? I said, the only thing I regret, I didn't choke him harder.
Now, the next year, he took on the role as coach for the Colorado Rockies, and all seemed to be going well, but again, he would butt heads with both players and upper management. Then, with his coaching career in the NHL coming to a close, well, Don Cherry decided to make something of his fame in his native Canada. He founded himself restaurants called Don Cherry's Grapevine.
Grapes is talking to old Blue. There's lots of heroes from the sports world too. So when you want to have a good time, come on down to the Grapevine.
And although he has since sold the company, there exist a dozen locations across Canada. In 1998, along with 3 other investors, well, Don Cherry, he set up the Mississauga Ice Dogs in the Ontario Hockey League. And for 1 short season, he took over as coach. He also decided to try his hand at acting. He appeared in the TV series Goosebumps, the episode's title, Don't Go to Sleep. And of course, he played the role of coach. I actually remember watching this when I was a kid.
I'll tell you something, hockey's going right down the tube. Get up! Get up!
You'll never get away with it, kid.
He also appeared with the Trailer Park Boys in the video for The Darkest One by the Tragically Hip, where he's seen delivering some fried chicken. Would have made more sense if he was delivering some Tim Hortons. And he was also hired in 1981 by the CBC as a sports commentator, but they learned pretty early on that he was a hard man to direct, as he would openly cheer for the teams he favored, which of course included the Boston Bruins and the Toronto Maple Leafs. Now, to justify his opinions, well, Coach's Corner, it was created to appear during the first segment of Hockey Night in Canada, alongside his then co-host Dave Hodge.
Tonight on Coach's Corner, we're going to talk about something called super talent, pure talent. You can't define it. You can't say what it is. It's some guys have it, some guys don't have it. I didn't have it when I played, but I got it as a coach. It's tough to figure.
Now, the ratings, they started to spike during Don's broadcasts, and the country, they had a new star in the world of sports. Then in 1986, well, Ron MacLean, he was introduced as his new co-host. And the two would work together just perfectly until, well, just yesterday.
You know, people must wonder about what's going on. Let me just tell you, our friends, the Russians, 5 of them were in the playoffs. They played 23 games, and they had no goals.
But quite a few assists.
11. They had 11 assists.
Who's counting?
I knew this guy would say that. 11 assists.
His career in broadcasting spanned nearly 40 years, and he branched off with his own popular series of videos titled Rock'em Sock'em. Now, there were, of course, just as much love for the Canadian icon as there were detractors. And with his colorful suits only getting more and more elaborate over the years, well, he became impossible to ignore. But there were numerous controversies over the years. In the 2002 to 2003 season on his Coach's Corner segment, well, he spoke out in support of Canada joining the Iraq War. In the 2003 to 2004 season, well, he made some derogatory comments about the number of French and European players who wore visors. And as a result, well, the CBC, they put his Coach's Corner segment on a 7-second delay. Yikes. What's happened recently? Well, Don Cherry, he's long been a supporter of Remembrance Day. He supports the veterans. He himself is 85 years old. He's been out to Flanders Field. And, well, he was just a little upset that he doesn't see a lot of Canadians wearing the poppy. So, well, what he had to say, it got him canned. Now, the dude is 85. He's been doing this a very long time. Of course, what he said was very inappropriate. But did he deserve to lose his job? I mean, he's a bit of a character, and I think the world of entertainment needs more of those. Also, he's a fantastic dresser. You know what I mean? Maybe I'll be... I don't know anything about hockey. All right, guys, we're going to wrap up this video here. My name is Michael McCrudden. Thanks for tuning in. Check out, we did a video recently on John Witherspoon. Unfortunately, that guy passed away. But you can let us know who's next in the comments down below. I'm thinking Bob Barker, Alex Trebek. I want to do Ozzy Osbourne. You guys let me know, you know where, and I'll see you guys in another video.